Hello, Gary Crowley here with DoItYourselfJointPainRelief.com, and this is video 2 of 3 videos for your plantar fasciitis self-treatment. And in video 1 we showed you how to actually release your plantar fascia right here, and here in video 2 we want to show you how to release your calf muscle, since sometimes your calf muscle being tight can basically pull on your heel bone, which is your calcaneus, and when your heel bone gets pulled on, it pulls on your plantar fascia because your plantar fascia attaches to the other side, to the other end of your heel bone. So in order to release your calf muscle most effectively, I want to make sure that there isn't anything else preventing it from letting go. So I want to show you how to release, first and foremost, this muscle on the front of your shin. Here's your shin bone on the inside of your shin. On the outside of your shin is your tibialis anterior muscle, and if it's tight, it can sometimes prevent your calf from really wanting to release. So in order to get your calf to release, to get your plantar fascia to release, we just want to make sure your tibialis anterior muscle is free. So there's 2 ways to get at this. If your hands are strong enough, or you just like this way, you can take your fingertips and run them down the top of your tibialis anterior, all the way basically from your ankle up to your knee on the side of your leg here. You'll feel that. And when you find a tender spot, you can take your fingertips and dig them in there, and then take your other hand and press it on your fingers so that it's helping to push those fingertips into the tissue. This is the hand-on-hand technique I show you on the techniques page, which I recommend you visit if you haven't. And then you can either do a press-pull-release, or you can do what I call a press-hold move, where you press into the tissue and then you make that muscle function underneath the pressure you're applying. And for your tibialis anterior, I find the press-hold move to generally be the most effective, and so that's what I'll recommend you try first. Press-pull-release is fine too. Maybe even a little up top it might be okay, a little bit, but I always find that press-hold move on this muscle is just fantastic. So do that. You can switch hands depending on what hand is stronger for you. But if that works, fantastic. And if you want another technique to get in there that doesn't require any hand strength, basically what you want to do is take a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball or a baseball, anything you can dig out of your dog's mouth or your kid's hand. And I personally always go with a tennis ball first. But if you find a chair or a stool, maybe with a little bit of padding, even just for stability of the ball, and you just lean on it with your shin and find a tender spot. Let me find a tender spot. Yeah, so you find a tender spot and then you press. You're basically doing a press-hold move. You're pressing with the ball into your shin and making that muscle function under the pressure of the ball, and there it goes. And then I just move to another spot, and basically, again, you're not rubbing this ball back and forth. You are picking a spot, pressing into it, making it stationary, and then making that muscle function under it. And again, tennis ball I tend to like. Baseball can also work. Well, actually today, actually the baseball's kind of perfect right now, so I'd actually choose the baseball over the tennis ball on this tibialis anterior. And again, just enough pressure that you can relax into, not so much that you're grimacing and messing up the communication to the cerebellum in the top of your brainstem that you're trying to tell to release this muscle. Lacrosse ball, actually lacrosse ball is a little too much, at least for my shin muscle. So if I had to choose, I'd probably go with the baseball. Most other areas of the body, I do like the tennis ball though. So that's your tibialis anterior stretch. And now that we've gotten this released, now we want to make sure your calf is released to make sure it's not pulling on your plantar fascia. So to stretch your calf, I do a pretty traditional calf stretch, maybe in a little different way, a little more specific way. Basically, if you just find a stair somewhere in your house or a curb that you can support yourself while your foot hangs off it, and if you just get up on that step and, like the old days, gently just let that heel hang off the edge of the step. The weight's kind of in the ball of my foot, but I'm nice and stable here. And what I have you do that's a little different maybe than you would have done before is after you gently drop into that stretch, I want you to flex that muscle and bring your foot back up to parallel with the floor, so it's level, you know, with the stair, and then drop it back down and bring it up and drop it back down. See, that's going to tell your brain you want to use that muscle and it's going to help it release. I do not want you doing this. Do not do this. That tends to tighten that calf even more. If you do a calf raise, it's too much. But if you engage that calf muscle, bring it up to level, bring it up a little bit, drop it back down, your brain very quickly, see, this calf's a little tight on me, this one, so I come up level, drop back down, very quickly my cerebellum in the top of my brainstem says, oh, he actually wants to use this muscle. We better recalibrate all the tension settings in here because he looks like he's going to start using this thing. So there we go. And now you can probably see my heel has dropped a lot more than when it just started. And so anyway, that is that's your calf stretch. So release the front of your shin first, especially if your calf's stubborn. You know, if you just stretch your calf and it lets go and there's no tension there, great. But if you ever have a stubborn, tight calf, release this and then stretch your calf and it'll probably let go a lot sooner. But that is your tibialis release and your calf release. Now self-assess. Notice how much that helped your plantar fasciitis. And if there's more work to do, you can go back and do it. More stretching, more work here. Or you can go on to video 3. But I thank you for your time and I look forward to hearing how it goes. Thanks.